So I find a big difficulty in this game to be developing a free-to-play defense that does okay. So I'm going to start off by using an Eric lead because I think most players have this toon, and I'm going to add in Joshua. Now I know that many players didn't end up getting him, so I will be subbing him out later, but this is also an example of a lot of different toons that could be subbed in that are free-to-play toons that would be somewhat effective in this team. So Eric has a leadership skill of all tough and strong teammates, get plus 40 HP in defense. And his rush can heal, as well as revive, and provides a defensive buff. This green Glen is a commander, so he can command other toons in order to perform another action, but then the following turn they won't be able to make an action. He also has a confused rush, and I'm probably going to give him either AP down when being attacked or stun on attack. Shiva is also a great toon to add in to this team. She is one of the first toons, 6-star toons that was released, and she's still very effective in my opinion. She has an active turn 2 stun. Her rush can apply a high amount of damage as well as confuse up to 2 enemies. And being a green toon, you can craft stun claws onto her, which can be very effective again. She hits hard and she's a great controller. So there's a few options for this last spot. You have Carl, for instance, so many players actually have him because you could get him from ascending toons now, I believe. Eugene was from a free-to-play event, and he is very good actually. He has, I think it's an active confuse, a taunt rush, and then he can have, again, a stun on attack weapon. This blue Garrett has been in the league store, and he has been on some war wheels, I believe. He has a great taunt rush, as well as a taunt active skill, so you can taunt characters into an impair weapon, for instance. The Carl that I had at first, again, can hold a green stun weapon, AP down. His active skill can increase AP for the rest of the team, and he's a healer. We have, of course, Douglas, who's a Generation 2 Guardian 2 shield. He can apply a defensive buff, as well as a multi-turn healing factor when he rushes, and he has an active skill that confuses for 2 turns, I believe, on turn 3. So a little bit of a slow active skill, but still pretty decent. So for Glenn, I'm going to give him a defensive stun on attack weapon. You can also use an AP down weapon when being attacked if you assume he'll be attacked first, and that way there are no safe targets. The next toon that I'll probably go to, I'm going to do Douglas. So for him, I have an impair weapon with crit and defense. You could also use a weapon that has AP on attack so that he can rush faster. There is also a command toon being Glenn there, so he could get his rush off early, which would help buff your team up by, I think, 50% on defense. For Joshua, because his rush can actually decrease the enemy's attack by 60%, so that's all enemies, he can be quite effective if you can get his rush off early. So I'm going to give him a AP weapon, so that's plus 20% AP at the start of the match, with a huge bonus to AP, but only 24% defense. And then for Eric, there's a couple different options you can make. I think I end up going with an impair weapon with a huge bonus to AP, or it might be very large bonus to AP, and either HP or defense, because I want Eric to be around in case I need someone to be revived, or his active skill can remove stun and can remove a 100% heal reduction that is applied. So this team is a bit tanky in my opinion, but still has some options to fight back, especially with Shiva. The Guardian 2 shield helps protect my team, along with Joshua. If he ever goes off, he will end up decreasing the enemy's attack, so it'll take the enemy longer to kill me. Just showing you on my Shiva, I made her quite defensive, 30% defense, a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and stun claws. I still need to try and get 35% defense on her claws, but it's not the most important thing to me at the moment. So this right here seems like a pretty decent team to me for being free to play. And now I'm going to end up removing Joshua out of his team in order for it to be almost completely free to play, if not completely free to play, to be honest. So again, I could have subbed in any of the toons I've already considered, so like Green Carl, Green Eugene, Blue Garrett, but I think I'm actually going to go with either Regina or Solange. So if I do Regina, then she's a decapitation toon that does maim damage with her rush, which is a set amount of damage, and her active skill is AP gain, which can be quite useful, especially when I have a command toon available. Or if I end up using Solange, she's a hold the line toon, just like how Joshua was, meaning as other toons die, she becomes more powerful on defense as well as on offense. Being a green toon, she can hold a stun on attack weapon, and she has the ability to revive a teammate if they're not decapitated or if 100% heal reduction isn't available. So with Regina, I don't need a ton of attack on her weapon, only because her rush does flat damage with maim, assuming the enemy does not have maim resist or a Pete who can recover maim. So by giving her the same weapon that I gave Joshua, she has a chance as well to rush early with a command toon being there and the plus 20% AP to start. And if the opponent tries to dogpile her at first and she lives, she has a decent chance of rushing and wrecking the offensive team, in my opinion. So this team seems pretty well balanced to me. Of course, it's not going to hold up against every single offensive team that comes against it, but I think it has a lot of positive components to it. It has an amount of control to it, amount of chaos, and defensive prowess. Thank you again for watching and listening to my video.